All right, this is the part I've been looking forward to. Getting to the second row of my storyboard where I introduce this new character. Now he's going to come in fast. My other character's been moving kind of slow, right? And so he's going to move in fast, but probably not so fast that he goes from nothing to all of a sudden here. So once I have the asset the way I want, I'm going to move the driftwood out of that. I have driftwood under him and in front of him so that his shadow falls. And I guess I need to erase it out. These are just little tricky things. I need to erase it out right there so that the shadow falls on this a little bit too. Okay, but he's not there yet. So I'm going to take my dinosaur layer and I'm going to move him. Turn off auto select. Take my dinosaur layer, move him back. And you see how his shadow now moves with him? So that's kind of nice to have that painted shadow. It's subtle, but it will make a difference. All right. I'm going to have the dinosaur come in maybe to about that level. Okay. And I've already moved my guy, but I don't think I've moved my rain. So let me move my rain. And let me play with its opacity, make it a little bit darker. Ominous. And then my rain splash, I'm just going to leave these rain splashes pretty much where they are so I can focus on the dinosaur movement. Go to my topmost layer, say Layer Merge Visible, holding down Option, Command A to select it all, Command C, and then paste it into my stage. But it's on the bottom of my stage. I need to get back up to the top. There we go. And then I can turn it off and on to see. There we go. All of a sudden he comes in and he has a shadow. So that's very dramatic. Okay, now there's some little light logic problems with that thing being so dark, but I'm okay with it. Now deselect. Now we get to just move with the dinosaur and my guy. So my guy is going to be kind of freaking out a little bit. So I'm going to make a new asset here. Command J. And I'm going to I was going to try doing a little double take with him changing. This will be really silly, but why not? So I just flipped him horizontal, and now I'm just going to not puppet warp, but just regular warp him to kind of fit the old silhouette a little bit better that he had. And then I'm going to erase the layer. I duplicated the layer behind, and I'm going to erase it out behind him, but I'm going to steal the tail from behind. But I might want that shadow. So then I erase the tail from this side. That's a little too soft. Let me erase it the old school way. Okay, and then I'm going to merge these two together. So I'm going to make this yellow. This is a new kind of pose. So he goes from this to this. Now I'll puppet warp that and make him look up a little bit. Again, you want to lock certain items. And tilt his head and pivot him a little bit. All right, so he goes from that to this all of a sudden. And now that will be a new way I start to animate him. And he's going to get chewed up. A lot of weird stuff's going to happen to this guy now. I might warp his ear a little bit smaller. This ear got a little crazy. I think that's probably Puppet Warp's fault. And it's worth taking a little bit of time with these original assets, because we're going to be making lots of duplicates based on them very, very soon. All right, that's better. Okay, so now I'm going to move my dinosaur in a little bit more. Stomp, boom. There we go. And I'm going to play with the rain just a tiny bit. And again, make it a little bit darker by increasing that duplicate opacity. Go up to my topmost turned on layer, hold down Option, say Layer Merge Visible. Command A to copy, Command C, Command V. All right. Now my intention is to make him grab the guy pretty darn quick. Now to do this, I need to bring in a new dinosaur asset. First, I'll just puppet warp the character a little bit. So now that I kind of understand what my assets are doing and what I can do with them, I can be a little less pre-planned with everything and just kind of have fun making each frame as I go now. I've played with it enough now to kind of know how it works. He's going to kind of shrink away a little bit with his body language, pretty much stay in the same place. Kind of bring his legs a little bit closer together, more of a protective stance, like that. Trying to shrink his body. And then the dinosaur has moved closer, but I want to puppet warp him now. Make a duplicate. And I want him to start bending over. Now remember, he's got that big shadow under him too. So I need to anchor the shadow so it stays put. You can also get rid of pins. I thought. Yeah, by holding down Option, you can get rid of pins. Because I just really want to just do that. And hit Return. And you see that difference. And then I want to move him in. And maybe warp the whole thing a little bit so he's starting to crouch and stretch. So it goes from that to that. Okay. And I might want to brighten him up a little bit at this point. He's catching a little bit more light. Okay, let's play with the rain. And let's put it in the frame. So you see my dinosaur is moving pretty quick. Now I get to bring in a new dinosaur asset, which is that kind of stretched out form. I'm going to put that in my dinosaur grouping, and I just bring it in. And I wanted to show you something I just discovered in this newest version. If I bring in my dinosaur as a smart object, which was I was hoping I could do, because I was hoping that actually meant that he was a PNG element, but no, he's not transparent. But if I just brought him in as a smart object, well, I'll show you how I can do that. Let's see, because it's worth it. It will remember my puppet labels. So there are benefits to a smart object, but to do that I need to open up my asset in Photoshop and clean it up all there individually. And this is a little rougher resolution than the toy I've been using, but it will work. All right, select inverse, duplicate, turn off. Oh, but I still got stuff down here. Delete that out. This out, delete this out. All right, now, so contiguous turned off. Let's select all the empty space. Let's refine the edge just a tiny bit. Delete. Okay, now let's bring that in as a smart object. Maybe I'll do a quick auto tone to it first, and then maybe a quick color balance. Give it a little bit more of the red that's in the one I've been using. Take its saturation down a little bit. The great thing about dinosaurs is you can color them any way you want. That's why toy companies can have so many different versions. And then I need to make his eye more bright yellow to match the one I'm using. I can even barely ever get to use this filter. I can even force it to sharpen a little bit, even though it will look grainy. It will increase its believability. All right, so I'm going to use the sponge tool, but I'm going to use it instead of to desaturate, to saturate. So set it on saturate, and now I'm going to really brighten up that eye. Now I need to change that eye, hue saturation, play with the yellows, lighten them up, play with the magentas, really take that magenta out, or at least shift it a little bit more towards yellow. And the reds more towards yellow. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to save this as a PNG element to my animation assets. And now I know it's a true transparent PNG, so I'll be fine. So now I use it, get rid of my original, bring this in, and now it comes in, nicely cut out. And I'm going to use it as a smart object. So check this out. First I'm going to make it match in scale. So I hold down Shift to lock its proportions. And where is his hip? His hip is there. Okay. Now I'm going to play with levels and adjustments. And because it's a smart layer, it won't directly affect it. Instead, it will make it as a smart filter within that layer. Same thing if I do my color balance and make them look a little bit dirtier with cyan and with blue. Right. And same with levels, if I just make them look a little darker in general, or limit some of the highlights. So that's all good. Now I can puppet warp him. Let's shrink him back a little. It's too long. And now I can say edit puppet warp, and because it's a smart object, it will remember